All right, now welcome back to FundIT. This is my second episode, and some of you actually might be asking, Jared, why do you call this FundIT? I'm going to talk about that at the very end when I'm done here because I really want to get into the meat and potatoes of what I'm here to talk about today. And I'm kind of excited to talk about this because I'm getting off of a call that we have every single Friday. It's called Scaling Your Skills. Robin Lavisar puts it on. Sometimes Todd Scriva puts it on. Sometimes both of them do. And sometimes there's guest speakers and things like that. And I kind of want to talk about that a little bit because in the mortgage business and even in real estate, so this is for you real estate agents too, because I think it's relevant. It is really, really, really hard, and it's really common. And I know this from talking to loan officers all over the place that it's really hard to get good sales coaching within your own four walls. I know a lot of people who just are yearning for this type of mentorship and leadership, and they don't have it within their company. They've got some manager who's a producer off doing their own thing, not pouring into them to help them grow their business. And it's not maybe because they don't want to, or maybe they're too busy, or maybe they just don't know how, right? It's just common. And as loan originators, oftentimes you've got to, and real estate agent, you've got to go out and pay for that coaching elsewhere. You're going to, one of the, there's a handful of places out there, and quite frankly, half of them aren't worth $1. Those people have no credibility to be coaching anything, but some of them are really, really good, and you're paying thousands of dollars for them too. I pay for coaching outside of what I get through my company as well, but it's two different types of coaching what I'm working with. But I want to tell you this because if you are someone out there that you're missing that in your business and you want to get a taste of what we get every single week with our Scaling Your Skills calls, for one, you'll be blown away with what you get, and you'll be like, wow, they get that every week? Absolutely. So Robin puts these on, and it's not just Cross Country Mortgage and Summit Division people at Cross Country Mortgage. I see people that are joining from other companies or people who are thinking about joining our team. If this is you and you'd like to see what it's about, give me a shout and I can kind of help arrange, Robin, getting an invite to you to kind of come in there anonymously and sit back and just watch what we do, because it is absolutely fantastic. I leave there every single week ready to just like run through a wall or hypothetically, but go out and start selling and filling up my appointment calendar and doing things like that. So today's call, just like every other week, right, was actually very impactful for me. And it brought us to a place to where it was really cool because Robin was kind of talking to us about setting your standards and more importantly though, differentiating the difference between your standards and goals. So let me explain what I mean by that. So you may have a goal of having 5 face-to-face meetings with real estate agents every week if you're a loan officer. And it's your goal. And some weeks you might hit that 5. Some weeks you might only talk to 3 or meet with 3. Some weeks you might only meet with 2 because you got a big pipeline or it's the end of the month or whatever it is that's distracting you from making that happen. Those are goals. If you hit them, that's fantastic. And if you don't, oh, well, try again next week. A standard would be you meet with 5 agents every single week because that's what you've set as your standard, right? So that's the difference between the two. You guys get that? Does that make sense? I think it does. So today we were kind of differentiating, or she actually asked, I don't differentiating, but she asked us kind of 3, like write down 3, I don't want to call them questions, but 3 standards, if you will, to think about in our own businesses. So the first one, and if you got your pen and paper and you want to do this exercise too, write it down. Go ahead and push pause, go get that pencil, go get that pen, come back. So the first one was your non-negotiables. What is a non-negotiable for you in your business? Okay. Number 2, what is one of your client experience standards? You make sure this happens every single time. And number 3, a professional discipline. And so I thought it would be kind of fun to talk about the 3 answers that I jotted down for myself. So the first one, a non-negotiable for me, and she actually specified in the non-negotiables for your sales activities. Okay, what is that sales activity non-negotiable for you? And I'm specifying that, and she was specifying that because it's very, very easy for loan originators to take the easy route and talk about like something in their process flow that's a non-negotiable, like I will take every single, or I will whatever, make sure every pre-approval is good, that kind of thing. Also a non-negotiable for me. But so for me, my first one, the non-negotiable is it's my FundIT Friday newsletter. I started doing this 17 weeks ago, and there's an audience of about 300 people. And for me, this is the standard for me. It has to go out. Everyone expects it. I get replies from that newsletter every single week of something that impacted a real estate agent that read that newsletter. My standard is that I write it. It is all in my words. I'll use ChatGPT sometimes to clean it up and help me make it not look like a third grader wrote it. And then I turn around and I rewrite it in my own words, and it just helps me organize it, right? But it is all 100% written by me. This is my thing. I hate all these newsletters that go out that are through some CRM that someone somewhere who knows where wrote and put together, and it has no relevance to the people that I work with every day. So that's my standard. I need better standards. Like when it comes to a point like face-to-face I use that as an example. Face-to-face meetings with real estate agents every week who are the bread and butter of my business. To me, I'm still in the goal area when it comes to that. I am very inconsistent in those meetings and those appointments, and so I need to turn that into a standard. But for now, we're going to stick with the FundIT Friday newsletter because that is a standard for me, and it is very impactful to the people who read it. It has helped me grow my relationships with a lot of real estate agents that I work with, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. And so the next one, client experience standards. And so one of my client experience, or my biggest client experience standard is if it's good for the customer, do it. If it's good for the customer, do it. And that might seem like, yeah, Jared, duh. I'm going to tell you right now, a boatload of loan officers I know, they don't have this standard. And if you're working with a loan officer that doesn't have this standard, that's a problem. You need to look around. And what I mean by that is sometimes you may be knee deep into a process and you find something that's going to benefit that client, but it's going to be a whole lot of work for you and your team. Maybe you're flipping the loan program, or you're helping them apply for a grant or something along those lines, or you're doing a down payment assistance loan instead of something else, and the company's going to make way less money on it or whatever. If it's best for the client, you do it every single time. That's my standard. And I will stand by that and live by it. That's not the norm. It actually makes me really sad in the mortgage business that is not the norm. I have that standard for my entire team. So all the loan officers that work for me, I don't have to press that on them. They know it's a standard. It is also a standard of theirs. That's why we all work together. I'm not going to hire someone who doesn't care enough about the client to make sure that they're giving them their best when it comes to that. And so that's that. Another standard of mine is in this kind of, goes, it's the same, it's part of that standard, but it's always making it the easiest I can for the client. So if there's a way for me to get a document or something that we need in the loan without having to ask the client for it, we're going to do it. Even if that means I'm arguing with an underwriter about a condition, saying, hey, we don't really need this, please get rid of this condition, right? It might be something that's extremely easy to get from them, but if there's a way for me to not ask for something, that's my standard. And at first, when people start working with me on my team, they get very annoyed about this standard. I mean, everyone always has, but then they realize why I do it. It's a part of my madness. It's the method to my madness of what has helped me build my reputation of having the clients feel like, wow, that was easy. Okay, so for me, it's always doing what's best for the client and making that transaction as easy as I can for them. And the third one was a professional discipline. This one I actually had to think about this one for a little while, and it goes back to a line that I heard actually. It wasn't that long ago that I heard this line, but it said something, it goes along the lines of doing personal things during the workday steals from your time at home. Doing personal things during your workday steals from your time at home. Well, I have a wife and 3 kids and a dog at home. I can't be stealing from my home time. I need to be spending my 9 to 5 working on my business, helping me grow. Because if not, I'm stealing from myself. And that's not acceptable for me. And you know, I used to do a lot of stealing from me. You know, I would run off and go do a couple errands throughout the day, or try to get a round of golf in during the workday or whatever. That doesn't move the needle. That doesn't help my family. And so I brought that standard into my business long ago. Now, every now and then I might, like, if I'm having I need a break, yeah, I'll get in my truck and I'll run down and pop into Dick's Sporting Goods and see if there's a new pair of shoes for me. I mean, you got to feed the beast a little bit. But I make it short, quick, to the point. I get back, dial in and focus, and go do what I got to do. So those were the 3 things I answered when it came to that. I think you should try this exercise too at home. Grab a pen and paper. Here, push pause. I'm going to repeat the questions again. So a professional non-negotiable. What are your non-negotiables to help you with your business? So business development, okay? Number 2, client experience standards. And number 3 was a professional discipline. Run through this exercise for yourself if you haven't, and see what you come up with as your standards. And then maybe you can turn some of your other goals into a standard too. So anyways, let's talk about that. Okay, where we came up with FundIT. So about 6 months ago, I bought a new truck, and I was trying to order a vanity license plate. I wanted the WSU one, and I put in for the word lender. I was like, hey, lender, I want that. It was available when I ordered it. You mail in your check with a little form, and it goes, and like 6 weeks later, they go to do the paperwork and issue it. Well, I got this email from the DOL late in the afternoon. It says, hey, the vanity, the word that you applied for is taken. It's not available. Do you want something else? And it was late in the day, and I was just like, I don't know. I replied, I don't know, make it something stupid like FundIT, and I pushed send. And I was trying to keep it within the mortgage thing. I was in a hurry. I didn't want to think about it, and I didn't even think the guy was gonna take that request as an official request. And then a few weeks later, this license plate shows up. I open it up, and sure enough, it says FundIT. And so then, as I was looking for something to name my newsletter, it became the FundIT Friday newsletter. And so, sticking with the brand here, the FundIT podcast, here we are. Anyhow, thanks for joining me. Hope y'all see you next time. Like, subscribe, share, send it to somebody who needs to think about what their non-negotiables are, what their standards are. If this will help them, fantastic. We'd love to hear from you. Peace.